All right. Good evening, everybody. Good to see you all here. My name is Abhishek Gupta. I'm the founder of High School Moms and International Alliance of Counselors and Educators. And today, in the gathering of one, two, three, four, five beautiful females, I'm the only ugly looking guy, it seems. Okay. Great to have all of you here. And to all the participants out there, I know all of you are super excited to know about how do you get the prestigious International Presidential Scholarship from Huron University, Canada, of 100,000 Canadian dollars. The beauty is, I'm not telling you. Until and unless you guys type into the chat 100,000 right now. So type in 100,000. Let's see how quickly do you type. Amazing. All right. Thank you so very much. I know all of you always resonate with me. And without taking too much time, let me quickly introduce my panel today. I will start with the counselor who has guided loads of students to amazing universities and has helped students to get scholarships like International Presidential Scholarship. On your screen is Shraddha Chauhan. She is the school counselor with the Mayo Girls School, College, what should I call? Okay, confused. Anyways, so British Legacy College, but Mayo Girls High School. I have with me Riva. She is the first year student for psychology honors. Is that correct, Riva? Okay, can't hear.
Yes, that's absolutely right, sir.
So, okay, I have Harsheen Kaur, again, currently studying in the first year for psychology, honors specialization, again at Huron University, Canada. Correct?
That's right.
Awesome. And I have Pia. Pia is studying global studies. Is that correct, Pia? Awesome. You need to first explain it to me. What is global studies? Before I can even ask you any questions, because political science se mera dur dur tak koi nata nahi raha. So I have no idea.
So Huron has what is called the Center of Global Studies, or CGS, and they have different programs under CGS. So global studies is basically like international relations. But what I want to specialize in is global rights. So basically human rights.
Right. And today they are being flouted in the presence of 5 females. I'm the only guy. I am depressed and suppressed. Okay, so please take care of the situation here and be nice to me. Okay, awesome. Let's decide on the agenda. And today we have students joining from the nook and corner of the country. And we really want to know, how did you all manage to get International Presidential Scholarship? And we have Shraddha, who will tell us what exactly does she look at into a candidate before recommending a candidate for such a scholarship. So we will take both the perspective. And finally, we will also take the perspective of the International Admissions Advisor of Huron University, Canada, Ms. Anjali Anand said, to understand what do universities look at when they give such a huge and phenomenal scholarship. Let me start with you, Shraddha. You have guided so many students possibly over the years, not only just for admissions, but also for scholarships. And I believe one of your students is right here who made it, right? So let's understand from you, taking her case study into account, that when your candidate came to you, what did you look at before recommending her that, yes, you are the girl who will get the IPS?
Good evening, everyone. So yes, of course, it's so nice to see you, Riva, after a very long time. So when Riva told me about going to Canada, applying in Canada, and so Huron was like, and the scholarship, of course, she was like the right candidate for us. because it's the principal and me who sit together and we decide, like, who are we going to nominate. And so we look at all the things, not just academically, but the co-curricular, the sports, all the aspects are taken into consideration. And she is one person who has it all. I don't think we had to think twice before nominating her. So academics, she's there. Extracurriculars, if you ask me, she's doing community service. She's done a lot in that. She has been always participating in MUNs and debating, you name it, and she has it. So for us, it was never looking at any other candidate for this nomination. So she has it all, and of course, so it is a holistic thing which you will look at. If a candidate, we will not nominate any candidate who we don't think is lacking in some or the other field, we will not nominate that candidate. So we look at the holistic, how the child has been from for our school, the child enters in class 4. So we look at the whole, journey of the child from class 4 to class 12, how the child has progressed in this journey, school journey, and how she has made a mark in this school. And Riva has been one student who has left an impact on each and every student in the school, I would say. She's been a great inspiration for all our students. So yes, that's like, looking at the whole personality of a student. Yes, definitely.
Understood. Anjali, coming to you, just want to understand that when schools nominate a candidate for IPS, in this case, Riva had it all, high academics, super achiever in terms of extracurriculars. And the best part is that she was very high on community service, which generally should be a norm with everybody. There is a price that we need to pay for our place on earth, and that price is helping other people. And it should not be done just for scholarships per se, but it should be done in the true sense, in the true spirit. What do what Huron looks at when you get loads and loads of applicants applying for IPS? And what are your top 2 or 3 criteria when you look at an applicant who has applied for IPS?
Thank you so much for the opportunity today. It is great to see all you girls again. It's been like such a long time. It seems as if like almost close to about a year since we last met. And Harsheen, actually, I have never met in person. We just couldn't meet because of COVID. So great to see you, Harsheen. And of course, Pia and Riva and Shraddha, you're the best. So talking about IPS gives me great pleasure that 5 IPS that we gave to Indian students for 2021, 3 of them were girls. Nothing like a gender issue here, but just the fact that you know that girls are as committed to doing things as boys are, and maybe doing better. When we talk about community service, I think Shraddha kind of put it very well, that we're looking at a holistic student. I just don't want students who are great academically, because when you're doing very well academically, you're doing it for your personal success. But when you're looking at co-curricular activities, you're looking at success of your community also along with you. So whenever you're doing a particular activity, make sure you don't do it just for like a tick on the checkbox. Do something more. And community service does not mean just joining your environment club or going to old age homes. Those are not this kind of community service that we're looking at. Just to give you a simple example, since we had spoken about Riva donated her entire hair and beautiful hair she has towards Cancer Society, and she went bald. At that age, you can understand, even as a girl, to go bald for an issue that you believe so, you believe in it, and you do that. A lot of people do that when they go to Tirupati, but then that's because they're asking for something for themselves. But to do that for the community and for a cause that you rightly believe in, I think that is the kind of community service that we're looking at. And I'm sure if you ask, both Priya and Harsheen would have their own stories to tell as to how they went over and above, up and beyond in trying to make a difference. So that's the kind of profile that we're looking at.
Okay. What I understand is that academics are definitely one criteria, and that may be because you have to have an objective criteria as well, along with the subjective criteria, which is extracurricular profile and everything. But essentially, boys and girls, parents, moms and dads, whoever is listening, and whoever is interested in making their kids apply for international presidential scholarship of $100,000 by Huron University, Canada, please understand that if you do not do something different, if you do not go out of the way, then getting such a coveted scholarship might be difficult. However, going out of the way does not necessarily mean that you need to be a leader, you need to be a school captain, you need to be maybe in organizing committee. It does not necessarily mean, as long as you are able to make an impact on the world, as long as you are able to make a difference, you will be able to claim your position in such a scholarship portfolio. Okay, coming to Harsheen. Harsheen, I understand that apart from studying psychology, you are also studying political science and global studies. Uh, you have been the director of logistics at HICA, Huron Indian Cultural Association, and you have participated with the Western Firearms Association, Adventure Club, WUSC, and many such clubs and associations at the campus. You are occasionally also seen performing in the events in the campus, and you dance as well. Question number one: are you God's gift to mankind? Where did you come? Uh, how do you manage to do that? You just made me nervous. But on a serious note, because kids are listening, most of the time uh, when we are at school, we always feel that the academic pressure is really high, and I cannot think of anything else but the academic pressure. So my first question to you would be, how did you manage time both at the high school as well as how are you able to manage time in at the university to be able to do so much beyond just academics?
All right. So the words that I'm going to say is going to sound a lot like something that our parents used to tell us, and they're actually true. I've been doing that, and that's how I could cope up with everything. So it's basically I just whatever the profs taught us in during the day, I just go over it quickly. Just that doesn't even take more than half an hour, and so that thing is in my head for a long time then, and doesn't require a lot of revisions. And so that gives me a lot of time to just do other activities, and because these other activities usually don't tire me, just make me even happier or gives me energy, and that just pushes me further to study a little bit more. So that's how it just kind of balances out, because when I'm tired of studying, I go take a break, I perform or something like that. When I'm tired of doing that, I come back and study, or I hang out with my friends. As you can see, I have amazing friends. Like both Pia and Riva are my roommates. They're just outside my room right now.
Okay, so it's important that they're outside the room, otherwise the mic will echo. So good. I also understood that you are a leader. You are the first one to throw others out and be inside the room, is it? Okay, jokes apart, guys, all three of you, I know you are super intelligent and super proactive people, and you might be wondering what kind of a Zoom session is this, but please understand we're talking to kids and parents, and we have to engage all of them. And if there is no fun, we'll not be able to engage. Coming to you, Riva, donating here for the cancer patients, as much as it was, I'm sure, a very fulfilling feeling for you, a very gratifying feeling for yourself to be able to do such a thing. It might have taken a lot of courage for you to take a decision, because it is just like breaking the norm, doing something totally different, absolutely going against the norms and ethos, so-called to say, set by the society. What made you think of taking such an action? And were your parents supportive enough, or you had to really convince them? Take us through the journey.
Thank you, first of all, for letting me share this story with everyone, with all the kids and parents that are here. And I hope this story helps them. If it's not just about donating hair, whatever they want to do, they want to make a difference in society. And I hope they get inspired to do this. So, the reason why I did it was very small. I was with a bunch of friends and we were scrolling through some videos on social media, and we came across this issue where people lose hair not only due to cancer, because of a lot of reasons, and we had a lot of argument over it. And all of us kind of reflected back and thought that we are good looking teenagers with perfect hair, and we can go to the salon, we can have our good hair days and our bad hair days and whatnot, and we're having a discussion over something that we're not stakeholders of. And that made us think so deeply. And that certain video that I watched of a 7-year-old who was suffering from cancer and she was going to die, and her most important concern was that she stopped looking like her classmates, like her peers, and she's lost all her hair. So even in that little kid, in the last few days of her life, her understanding of life was whether she will be accepted by her peers or not because of the way she looks. And that was kind of an impulsive thing that I decided, and within the next 2 days I've had done my research and I was ready to donate my hair. My mother, she was very hesitant, and she's like, this is your age to go ahead, shine. You are yet to take up so many leadership roles. There are so many times that you'll have to step on the stage, organize so many things. Would you be able to do it with a bald head? And I told her that, Ma, my whole heart is in this. So while my mother was hesitant, she did not know what the outcome will be. Both my parents were hesitant. They've never stopped me from doing something that I truly believe in. So while they disagreed and, while they were like very hesitant about it, they let me go ahead with it. And they knew that if I had taken this decision, I will be, able to bear my own consequence. So what I want to tell everyone here is that when you truly believe in something, when your whole heart says that this is what you want to do to make an impact, this is something that you can do to make an impact, go ahead with it. Don't think about what's going to happen later or not. And honestly, I did receive a lot of backlash for doing this as well, because a lot of girls my age started controversies saying that what am I trying to prove, that the girls who love to have long hair, are they selfish, are they not good? And what I wanted to tell them was that that was not what I was trying to prove. Giving these hair or giving these to the people who cannot afford to have these hair, right? I'm not saying that anybody who has these hair should feel ashamed of having them because others don't, but they should be sensitized to the fact that having them or not having them does not make anybody more or less beautiful. Everybody gets to decide their own beauty standards, and it doesn't have to be so conventional all the time. So yeah, whenever I used to sit in class or something, a lot of people made fun of me. A lot of people started rumors also, like that she's depressed or something like that, or she does have some underlying disease. And it was funny and it was very shocking, and when people got to know that I did it by choice and I did not do it because मेरी कोई मजबूरी थी. So I think with that I want to say is that for all the parents also, that when your child is doing something, even if you are hesitant about it, even if you think that he or she or they are going to receive a lot of backlash for it, if their whole heart is in it and they believe in it, and you just allow them and give them that space to step out and actually execute what they have in mind, they will be able to take the consequence. Because if they have set their heart on something, their heart has the strength to take the consequence of it as well. So I think that is what I did. And I am really, truly grateful to my mother, because she has always supported me in all my decisions like this. And I think my whole personality is the way it is because my mother never stopped me, even if she disagreed with me most of the time.
I'm so sure that your mom will be really proud of you right now listening to all of this. And we are very proud of you. We are very proud of all three of you. Pia, coming to you. You have keen interest in human rights. You have keen interest in studying about rights studies, and you want to specialize in it. You, in your bio, you say that you're hoping to pursue a career in activism, right? And apart from that, you still pursue interests in classical dancing, writing, reading. what's your story? So why don't you take us through the last 2 years of your high school, 11th and 12th, quickly, and tell us what all did you do which makes you think that these were the reasons for you to get an IPS?
Okay, so I do hold a very, very keen interest in human rights, especially because of my mother. She has been an activist since the 90s. And I started learning about a lot of marginalized communities in India itself from her. I grew up listening to stories from her days of activism. And when in 11th and 12th, I was still a classical dancer. I had started dancing at 3 years old. So I used to do Kathak. And in 11th and 12th, I was very deeply into it. I would perform at festivals. Any chance I would get, I would absolutely perform solos or group dances. It didn't matter. I loved performing. Then in 11th grade, I joined the editorial board at my school because I also love to write. And then in grade 12, I stood for elections and I became head of editorial board. So essentially editor of my school magazine. And apart from that, because I knew that I loved to write, I was co-editor with one of my friends for a youth portal online, and we spoke about lots of issues that we were passionate about. So I feel like school did give me a lot of opportunities, but I think one of the best things it did was help me realize where my potential lies and how I could sort of connect my interests to actually make an impact. So a lot of my articles actually reached people and they read it, and it made me feel really nice that it actually affected people. They took something back from it.
Wonderful. Let's go to Harsheen again. And Harsheen, your time to share your high school story. Anjali, I'll just
Sorry.
come to you because
I wanted to add, which Priya, I guess, missed. Priya, we have some students here who feel very strongly about the LGBTQIA community. So Priya worked a lot in that field also, and I think you missed telling about that.
So yeah, I do feel, I mean, I'm an ally all the way. And that's also mostly because of my mother. She was actually a queer activist. And that's how I learned about all of these marginalized communities. And when I started writing, I did write about the community in general, about internalized homophobia, about mental illnesses. And it helped me really understand what struggles people actually go through, because I couldn't write about it unless I actually understood the struggles. And I was part of so many gender sensitization programs, and it really, really, really broadened my perspective. Coming here to Canada, where it's such an open community and these issues are really, really discussed, it's good to know that I can give my 2 cents, knowing that I come from a background where I was educated on all of these things. So yeah, if anyone has any questions about this, I would be more than happy to answer, not just now, but like even after the session.
I would definitely have some questions, and I will definitely like to discuss.
Absolutely.
But coming to Harsheen right now, and before I go to Shraddha and Anjali once again, because there is some sort of commonality emerging here, and I would want to understand both from the counselor perspective and the university perspective. Harsheen, what's been your story in high school? If you can quickly take us through.
So throughout high school, like till my 12th grade, my biggest one of fun facts about me is like till 12th grade, I had changed 12 different schools. Not because I had been kicked out of the other ones, but my dad's in the army, so his job involved a lot of transfers. So after almost every year or so, I would change schools. So what I feel that I got out of it was I was very, very, very diverse. Like my culture, one year I'm living in Kashmir, next I'm in Tamil Nadu, and then I'm in central India and everywhere. But I did my 11th and 12th grade from one school, thankfully, and it was the Emerald Heights International School in Madhya Pradesh. And what I feel from that school was that, there were just so many opportunities in front of me that I could just pick and choose any that I wanted to do. And like my school counselor, unfortunately, she couldn't come here today. she was so engaged with our students. Like, she used to keep constantly giving us, different, like, this is a webinar, join this. I didn't even, so for a lot of students, they already knew Huron, but for me, I didn't know Huron. I was just applying to US colleges. Huron is the only Canadian college I applied to, and that too because my counselor recommended it to me. She came forward and she said that, with your profile, with your portfolio, there is a scholarship that I really want to nominate you for. And she said that it's a Canadian university. And I'm like, ma'am, I don't want to go to Canada. I'm aiming for the US. But she's like, but it really matches your. And the only thing in my head was that, since childhood, I'd seen that all Punjabis go to Canada. So I wanted to break that stereotype. I'm not going to Canada. You already know that. But my counselor is like, just give it a try. And you won't believe, it was my last stage of the process. It was the interview. That's the final third stage, I guess. And it was just half an hour left in my deadline, and I went to my parents, and Mama were like, "Why? When are you doing the interview?" I'm like, "Mama, I won't get it. Why are you pushing me? Please, it'll just break my heart." And then, of course, I got a slap from Mom, and she made me sit down at a table, and I gave my interview. But apart from that, during high school, there were a lot of volunteering activities, like a lot of them, and not just performed by the school, but like also apart from them, I used to sit down. I'd actually started this thing. I used to sit down on every weekend and get all of the, the DDs who used to work there, all of their kids, because of the COVID, everything shut down. So I used to sit with them religiously and make them study along with my brother. And apart from that, there was a lot of other stuff that I kept doing constantly. Like there were plantation drives, there were, teaching the kids and about the sanitary issues for women. And then there were a lot of extracurricular activities, like, of course, dances, dramas, competitions. And then my sports was a very, very strong forte for me. Like, I've played nationals in quite a lot of sports. Like, I'm a 10-meter air pistol shooter, and then I'm also a national badminton player. Then also done martial arts and other, a lot of sports. So overall, and of course, academics was there. So overall, my portfolio became like a very well-rounded application, and that's why I think I was nominated for it.
Wonderful. The beauty of having students on a panel is that you can afford to ignore the educators, right? And because at the end of the day, we all, me as a career counselor, Shraddha, Anjali here, all of us are working for all of you. And if you guys are so proactive in coming forward and helping other students understand how you can make it to such a coveted scholarship, it just makes us feel very proud. And I'm sure Shraddha and Vandana Murjani, who's your counselor, she would be equally proud, and Pia's counselor would also be proud. But boys and girls, it's very important to understand that there are at least few very common things which emerge from all the three different stories, whether it is Harshin's story, Riva's story, or Pia's story. One common thing that emerges is that for them, community service or associating themselves with a cause was not just limited to participating in an NGO and getting a fake certificate. For them, it was a cause that they believed in. For them, it was an activity which they wanted to create a difference with, and wanted to make a world a better place. Coming to you, Shraddha, what are the other commonalities are emerging for you as a counselor? Because one is your student, you know her really well. Two of them have not been your student, but now with huge experience that you have, what do you think are the common factors that are emerging from these three stories? Because we might have certain students in the audience or here who do not have access to a highly involved counselor like you or Vandana, and they still are making the best out of whatever they have, and they still would want to apply, because just because they do not have access to a highly involved counselor should not stop them from applying to a great scholarship. So what are the common elements that are emerging out of the three stories for you?
So for me, if you're saying that they do not have a counselor and they want to apply, so for the application process, when they look at it, so they need to be in touch with the teachers, that they're going to get the letter of recommendation from, or the other things like sure, like not all schools offer community service. For our school, it is a big part where everyone from 9th grade onwards, mandatory it is that they have to, be a part of one of the 5 domains that we have. But apart from the school community service, of course, they do a lot. But the students definitely need to be in touch with the teachers. There will be someone or the other, even if there is not a designated career counselor in the school, there will be someone who will be handling these things in school.
It could be the principal himself or herself.
It could be the principal, yes, of course. So, like I would talk for Riva, like when the letter of recommendation was needed for her, we asked the principal. I did not write it as a counselor, but I wanted the principal who has been there before me. I joined like 4 years back. So of course she knows her better. So I wanted her to write the letter of recommendation for her, which would be more detailed. So of course they should be in touch with the principal, let her know that they would, and if they feel that they are the right fit for this nomination, they should go and talk to the principal and tell her that we would like you to nominate us. Of course, it is up to the principal to decide whether she wants to or she does not. If she sees that child as a right fit or not, it is up to her. But they can definitely go up to the principal or the counselor and let them know that we are interested in this scholarship. So of course, this year also we have students, who are interested, and we have to decide whom to nominate. So you, as students, I would say, be in touch with your teachers, counselor, or the principal, whoever is handling this. You have to let them know that, yes, you want to be nominated. And why do you think you want to be nominated? Why should you be nominated? What are the things you've done? The principal would, of course, know everything that you've done in school and outside the school, but you have to show that interest as well. So that is a big part.
So boys and girls, if you do not have access to a school counselor, do not worry. You can always go to your teachers. You can always go to your principal and ask them to nominate you for such a scholarship. Anjali, coming to you, 3 different stories, 3 different schools, one common thread. All 3 of them were associated with a cause. What are the other common threads that you see in these 3 stories, which forced you as a university to acknowledge and give out $100,000 scholarship?
So I wouldn't call all the 3 stories different, really. One thing that comes out common, and which is something that all students who are going to be applying or are interested in applying, what they need to understand is, when I say you need to go up and beyond, does not mean you need to do more activities. You need to do activities which are actually making a difference in the world. Whether it was, one person donating her hair, the other person talking about gender equality, and Harsheen did not mention, but, when we looked at her profile, one thing that stuck out was that she actually learned the sign language to teach the deaf students. That means you're taking out some extra time out of your, grade 12 is not easy for anybody, but you're still going beyond your comfort zone to make a difference and do things for the others, something that is close to your heart. That's the kind of student that I am looking at. As you mentioned very rightly, Abhishek, in the beginning, is that it's not just a certificate that you're getting. Oh, I participated in 50 activities at school. I was a very active student. But was it something that really made a difference to other people's lives? It could be as small as trying to educate the students of the children of the ayahs and the support staff which works at school. Did you make a difference? Did you take out 1 hour of your time to come after school hours to help teach those? Did you help a weak student within your class get better grades? Or were you among those who love the idea that the teacher comes and pats my back every time, while the ones who were not so great were still struggling? So at Huron, like, we have a peer mentorship where senior students actually teach first-year students. So it's about success for all. And I think that is something that we are looking for, the spark we are looking for in a student, that irrespective of what you're doing, if you are not able to work towards success for all, then no matter you do 10 different things, it doesn't matter, because you're doing everything for yourself. You're doing everything for that certificate. And identifying that student from among so many is where we look at towards the school and the counselors and the principals, to identify that one student who you think. Most importantly, never hesitate to speak your mind. If you look at all these girls and if you actually look at their profile, you'll understand that whether somebody accepted them, it's not about acceptance of, your friends around you. They're not your friends if they don't accept a difference of opinion. I think that is something that you need to understand. Never hesitate to speak your mind, even if 100 people disagree with you, as long as you believe in that fact. And I think all these girls did exactly that, whether it was writing blogs or talking about those issues. Rima said it very well, that people kind of wondered what has gone wrong with her. Pagal to nahi ho gayi hai, or maybe she's hiding something. We are quick to judgment. We are quick to that. That is something that you can stand on your own against it. That's the kind of student I want at Huron.
And I so agree with this because when I started High School Moms as a community, I was labeled, thrashed, bashed because everybody thought, how can a father become a founder of a mother's community? Without realizing the fact that motherhood has no gender, it's a state of mind, and fathers can also be mothers. And I wanted to break the norm. And today here we are, 10 million parents and students following us across social media. So I completely agree. And boys and girls, whoever, and moms and dads, if you are listening to us, for motivating these 3 young kids who made a difference already in a very short span of time on planet Earth. And I God only knows what difference they will be able to bring, when they really enter the corporate world or the real world. For motivating them, can we just have it in the chat? We are proud of you. Just type it in the chat in the caps locks that you are proud of them, because not very often you are able to hear these stories. Anyways, coming to all 3 of you, I really want to know your experience at Huron right now, right? I want to know your experience at Huron from the perspective of very academically bright kids who got amazing scholarship. I'm sure you had certain expectations from the university when you're going, because inherently you were doing really well in academics, you were doing really well with your extracurriculars. Counselors like Shraddha, if they are vouching for kids like you, I'm sure there was a lot of content into your resume. There was a lot of content into your profile. Compare your expectation from a university to what you're actually able to do at Huron. Let's start one by one. And this time, let's start with Riva. Riva, you had, okay, the chat slowly started moving on, but it did, and they are proud of you. Okay, so help me understand, as a student who was bright, willing to take the world head on, you must have had certain expectations from a university, because a kid like you could have, and pardon me if you look at my age and some white hair here, it is about time that I need to call even a 30-year-old a kid. Okay, so very closely inching to that number. But a kid like you, beta, must have had certain expectations. You could have got admission in any university, wherever you would have applied. You chose Huron. What is your experience now?
So when I was looking at universities and I came across Huron, the first thing I did was speak to Ma'am Anjali. I got on a call with her and, I cleared all my doubts, and whatever she told me did create a, very beautiful perspective of a good university life. And when I say a good university life, it means that Huron looks so much into the personality of the people that they're selecting. They're not just selecting you through your grades. They're just not looking at the number. They're looking at who you are as a person. And the motto, leaders with heart, that made me believe that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to study amongst people who are going to think like me. So while in high school, I'm receiving backlash for it, when I came here and everybody knew my story, there was an immense amount of support and I was not used to that. So the expectation that Ma'am Anjali and Ma'am Shraddha created for me, the way they pushed me that, no, this is your place. This is where you will thrive. This is where you will grow. I think for me, Huron, went ahead of all those expectations and, gave me a life that I was looking for. Because the subject that I want to pursue, anything that I want to pursue for that matter, like I have a, interest in literature, and I'm also studying English as a course right now. And no matter what you're doing, your professors, your peers are so committed to make sure that everybody around them is included, everybody around them is growing, everybody is moving together. No matter what you want, if you want extra research material, if you want to discuss something which is out of the course, if you want to research on something, if you want to do something extra, Huron is there to support you and encourage you. And everyone in this university is so approachable. 2 months here and I know so many people. Like when I walk into the campus, I will be busy saying hi to like 5 or 6 people who cross me. Not like, big universities where you don't know who your classmates are, you've never spoken to them, you know everyone, and by the end of it you're like, oh, I have you in this class also, I have you in this class also. And even if they don't know you by that, they go like, oh, you have the class right after me because I see you walk out. Everything is so close knitted, every professor knows you, and they are so friendly to you, they're accommodating to what you want. And I think for a student like me who wants to go ahead and pursue whatever she wants to do very deeply and in a very detailed way, I think Huron has been great for me. All my psychology professors have been encouraging, and not once have I gone and been like, oh, this is out of the course, but this is something I'm reading and I'm really interested in it. And they will actually take out their office hours, which is dedicated to syllabus work, to actually give me time and go back home, research on it, come back with more to give it to me. That all the seniors, like I am in the peer mentorship program and I am with Ma'am Anjali's daughter Anvita. She is my mentor, and we've been working so hard together so that she makes sure that I'm on top of my course, but I'm also doing things I enjoy. And the way all the seniors here, like even our dons and residence life people, they encourage you to have a good life, a fulfilling life, and not only in terms of activities and academics, they want you to enjoy, have fun. Huron organizes so many activities so that even if you're an international student, you don't feel left out. You don't feel like, this is a strange place I've come to and I miss home. There are like hot chocolate and popcorn. I think the other day, Harsheen and I went to this event in App's house where our seniors just wanted us to come and paint with them. And they were offering us cookies and hot chocolate and popcorn in exchange. And they're like, we don't want anything from you. Just come paint with us and we'll give you food. So all these activities that Huron has to offer, you feel like you're not in some university on your own alone out there. There is somebody always who's going to care for you. Even like us as roommates, I think me, Pia, Harsheen, and another roommate of ours, we like don't let any of us go anywhere alone. Like it's a rule in Huron. If you have to go out, somebody will be willing to come with you. Never will you have to be like, oh my god, I have to take this trip alone. I think for our bank accounts, for like our sims, like smallest to smallest things, if you want to get something for our room, Huron was there throughout. They're like, we'll get you everything from your books to this to that to room decor, anything you want. We are here to make you feel welcome. And I don't think you see this in any university. When university offers admission to a student, you feel like, oh, I'm so grateful that this university offered. I think Huron is a university that respects you equally, that says that because we've given you admission, we are truly honored and happy to have you here. We're so glad that you're studying with us. So I think this is why Huron stands out. And I think this is why Ma'am Shraddha was very happy in encouraging me to join such a community, because I think Ma'am Shraddha better than anybody else knew that I would actually thrive and grow to my best in such a community. And that is why I chose Huron. And it has, went ahead of my expectations. I wasn't expecting a university to be so friendly, so open, and so accommodating. And I am very, very happy with my choice. This is a choice that nobody can regret. I can guarantee that.
Amazing. And now you made life difficult for Harsheen and Pia, because you practically spoke everything. But I'm sure they would have their own personal likings understanding of their expectation vis-a-vis what Huron had to offer. I have no doubt, because I have been in love with this university ever since I started working. I interacted from Dr. Barry Craig to everybody, to Anjali, to Mustafa, everybody I have interacted, faculty. And this is my serious advice to all the students and parents listening to us, that when you look at a university experience, just by broadly going to a parameter that how many PhD faculty they have, or what are the kind of courses they offer, or what are the number of students they are studying in that campus, you need to go beyond. You need to look at the student experience, because when you see these three girls, what I see in common right now is three happy youngsters. Three youngsters who are happy doing what they're doing. Three youngsters who are happy and willing to change the world. Three youngsters who will possibly lead organizations in future just because they are happy. Harsheen, your expectation versus vis-a-vis what Huron had to offer. Quickly, beta, we're running really out of time.
Yeah. So I come from a very close-knit family and a very, very close community. So my one expectation I always had from college was that it should be like a tight community. I should know people. Reva has already spoken all about it, but so I'll tell you just a short comparison. So just right opposite to our dining hall is the Western University. We just have to go under a bridge and we're at Western main campus. So there's a huge contrast that you can see between Western and Huron. Like when you're at Western, you walk like this. You just have your headphones on, or you just working or just sipping on coffee, because you are one of so many people. If you cross like 50 people a day in just a short span of 5 minutes walk, you will never see those people again, most probably. You're just one person in a whole world, in a body of people. But when you're walking at Huron, you never walk like that, because there are like 50 people that you have to say hi to. Like Reva mentioned, you're walking and your hands keep waving because you know everyone around. And it's not only students. Like I know the janitor that comes, before my math exam, I am very, very scared of math. Math doesn't like me, basically. So before my math exam, I was so nervous that when she came in, her name is Paula. When she came in, I went up to her and I said that, listen, I have a math exam today and I'm really nervous and I'm missing my mom. Can I get a hug? And you have no idea how comforting she was. She helped me calm down. She said that I'll do really good. And I did. I mean, that's the kind of bond we have. So in the mornings, if I get up early, I help her clean up, like the room and everything. And then it's not only them, but the professors. Like if I ever meet them outside of campus, like at Walmart or Dollarama or anywhere, they'll meet me like they're some of my friends. Like that's the kind of connect we have. And apart from that, just when I got to know that Huron really looks into the personality of the student, and like the main motto was leadership, lead with heart, right? So the one hitch that I had in my mind was that maybe when I come here, everyone will have the same mindset. Like, everyone will think the same. That's a good thing, but also a bad thing. You don't get diversity. So I thought that everyone will be leading and everyone will be, just in the front and everything like that. But when I came here, it's totally different. Like there are so many different people and everyone has their own opinions and everyone can question what you're doing. And that's just, it may sound wrong, but it's so empowering. Like, you actually feel that you're being paid attention to. Like someone's actually hearing your opinion and giving you, a feedback on that. Be it teachers or your professors or your counselors or anyone. And you can walk up to anyone. Like one day, me and Pia just randomly walk up to Mustafa, like, we were missing you, so we just came to say hi. So that's the kind of thing you can do here.
Wonderful. Pia, what's been your experience, beta? From the expectations to the real experience?
I think coming to Huron, obviously, I had heard so much about it. And compared to the other colleges that I had applied to, Huron had a really personal touch. Like Anjali ma'am knew me, Mustafa knew me. Even before I had accepted my offer of admission, everyone knew me. I had already spoken with Dr. Barry Craig. And I was already drawn towards coming here. Other than that, I was put in touch with so many students here before I decided to come. I spoke with Namra, who's our Dawn this year, and she's a 4th year as well. And she gave me all the confidence I needed. because I'm a very, very anxious person. And I was really, really scared about academics and what the pressure would be like. And she said that everyone's here to help, and everyone really is here to help. The professors, I've written so many emails in the past 2 months. I go to all of their office hours, talk about all of our assignments, and it's amazing. And everyone's very accommodating. All the professors are really, really affable. And even the lunch ladies are amazing. They all know us by name. So yeah, everyone's really affable, really accommodating, and it's amazing to know that you stay with people that
Okay,
actually
before
care
we
about
go
you.
to Shraddha and Anjali for one last round of questions to both of them, I have one question for all three of you, but you have to promise me, because I see a lot of passion and love coming out for Huron, and when you start talking, you don't stop talking, and we are running really running against time right now, so you will keep your answers very short. All three of you are doing so much at the campus. Okay, somebody's involved in HICA, somebody's doing volunteering, somebody's doing something, and on the top, to top it all, you go to your seniors' room and you paint. What is that? Define it to me, and pardon me for being short on words. I've had a crazy long day, spoke already 4 hours in a seminar here in Ahmedabad. But I'm sure that there is some reason and rationale apart from just the feeling of goodness, right? There's some reason and rationale also attached to being able to do so much. So while I appreciate that Huron has given so many opportunities for all three of you to participate and volunteer and network and meet and grow in life, what is your reason to be able to actually participate in all of these activities? Starting with Pia this time. Pia, why do you participate in so much?
Because like Riva said, my mother never held me back. She always told me to do everything. And when I spoke with Anjali ma'am about Huron, she told me immediately about everything that was going to be there. And she said that if you want to excel and if you actually want to become a leader with heart, you're going to have to be very, very active on campus. And I think that's it in a nutshell, is because there's so much there, it's hard to ignore.
So much there and it's hard to ignore. Yes, you want to be a part of everything that you want to do. Harshit, over to you. What's your reason and rationale for participating in everything that comes your way?
So, no matter how strong the community here is, you tend to miss your home, right? Like this is first time I'm coming out of my home, even for like 2 days. So I keep myself engaged in like so many activities. I tend to stop thinking about home and start building a home here. Like now, because I know that almost for a long time I'll be here. So, instead of just missing my home and missing my parents and my annoying little brother, I just start building a family here. So, that just distracts me from my homesickness, as well as just helps me engage more with the community here and make new friends, because I know my mom always, since I remember since like 6th grade, my mom's been telling me, you'll make really good friends in college. You'll make really good friends in college. We used to crib because we kept changing schools and everything. So she's like, go to college, you make good friends. This is the time that I'm actually making really good friends. And that's why I just
what about you, Riva? Your reason and rationale for participating in so many things?
I think my answer is very generic, as in terms of that, all of us are here in college to build a life and, to look ahead to the future. And I think the more you participate in everything, the more you kind of try to step out of your comfort zone and explore other areas, the more you discover yourself. And when you're discovering yourself, and you find out things about yourself that you didn't know before, I think college does that to you. You find people that you want to be around with, you find people that you connect to, you find different groups of people that you want to go for, to different reasons. You find your fortes that maybe in high school you were like, okay, I can't do this, but then you come here and you're like, maybe this is my thing. You never know. So I think that is the only reason why I would keep stepping out of my comfort zone, is to explore myself, to explore what I stand for and what I believe in. So I think that is that.
Absolutely. And boys and girls and moms and dads, whoever is listening to us, please understand, extracurricular activities are not just important for your child to get admissions and scholarships. They help you build a character. They shape a personality. they help you in self discovery. Generally I end up saying as a career counselor also, there's no knowledge without college. And when you go to college, you discover a lot of things which you never thought are possible for you as an individual to do. And once you start doing it, once you start engaging in those activities, that's when your true real self emerges. Coming to you, Anjali, self-discovery, amazing opportunities. All three kids are very, very proactive. But I've heard you often saying that Huron guarantees 100% paid internships to every single child who will come to Huron campus. What are your reasons of being so proactive as a university to provide those internships and opportunities, which all these three happy Huron kids are enjoying? What are your reasons?
Our reason is simple. We want success for every single student. Just as we say, no student should be left behind for good quality education. Reason is simple. We want them to be successful, but the success definition of success is different for different students, which is why they're able to customize their own experience and make sure that when they step out in the real world, they are grounded and they know that they've been taught not just the skills that are required in the world out there, but also human skills, which require them to be successful as people. That's our motivation. So anything that we make, can we make their experience worthwhile in Canada and even beyond? That is our entire motivation, to ensure that we offer them paid internships, because you do require real life experience. So while experiential learning is within the classroom also, you do require that real life experience when you're going to go out looking for jobs. And if you're not able to do that at the university at an undergraduate level, then you're not going to be employable. So we want our students to be employable also. That's why paid internships become important for all students. Whether you pick it up or not is different. So, but it's something that the university needs to offer.
True that. Shraddha, my question to you would be, but before that, okay, all three of you, Harshin, Riva, and Pia, I want you guys to be ready with one takeaway. All right. Every time kids end up coming to sessions like these, and boys and girls, whoever is listening to us, please understand, when you hear about Steve Jobs, when you hear about Jeff Bezos, when you hear about Ratan Tata, you do tend to get motivated for 30 seconds, but after that, everything falls flat. You know why? Because we haven't seen them grow in front of us. We have only heard about them in documentaries. We only read about them. But when I meet these three kids, remember, till last year, maybe till 2 years back, because last year was a COVID year, but till last year, these were the same kids who were roaming around in the similar galleys of the school like you are. These were the same kids who were sitting with their friends in the canteen and singing the same Antakshari like you are. These are the same kids who possibly would have been cribbing about a teacher here or there like you do. These are the same kids who were scared about their board exams like you do. These were the same kids who even had fights with their parents when they did not get the iPhone 13 or the new mobile. However, today, they are sitting right there in Canada, enjoying being in one of the finest liberal education universities that I am aware of, and not only enjoying, but and not only studying, but also thriving, like Riva said, because thriving is a very, very strong word. I am not there at the university only to study, but I want to be there, happy, chirpy, smiling, enjoying my life, building connects, building a network, and then proceeding with the real world. So what I want you all three to do is, you have made it. You have created a legacy for others to follow. And I'm sure you can give one takeaway to all the students and the parents. If you want to give one takeaway for the student and one takeaway for the parent, we are happy. But minimum one takeaway, what do you think these kids can do to not only make it to Huron, but also end up getting scholarship from Huron? So while you are thinking about one takeaway that you can give to these kids, let's go back to Shraddha. Shraddha, some of these kids might have a psychology teacher who is, acting on behalf of a career counselor. Some of these kids might just have a principal. you as a career counselor give your suggestion, maybe top 2 or 3 suggestions that you can give to everybody who is listening. What can they do if they are in grade 12 or 11 right now? What can they do now to stand a chance to make it to Huron, especially for admissions, and then for scholarships? Your takeaways for the parents and the students, please.
Yes, so I saw a lot of questions in the chat box that we don't have a counselor, or how do we go about it? And my portfolio is not strong. So for students in 10th and 11th, I would say that they should look at summer programs, where we offer a lot of internships to our students. We keep informing them about the summer programs which are happening. There are also in winters, they have these programs, and colleges which offer, those short duration 1 week, 2 week programs, which they have and which they can attend to get a better understanding of the world outside and the workplace, and of course the subject choices which they have and the courses which they would like to opt in college. And of course, they will have to community service. I saw some questions that what exactly is community service. So it does not necessarily mean that you have to be associated with an NGO to get a certificate. You don't need a certificate for that. You can do anything. I'll give you a brief example. Like last year, because of COVID, Ajmer being a very small city, the farmers nearby, there is a local student, and they could not sell their vegetables and fruits, So one of the students who lives in Ajmer itself, she went from one farm to another and collaborated. She told her parents that I want to help them. And so she bought vegetables and sold, went home to home and sold them so that she could help those farmers. So of course, she will not be getting a certificate from the farmers that she helped them, but this is something which when she told us, so we went and checked, and of course she was doing all that. It was great. It was in the papers everywhere because she was doing so. And she's, I think, in class 11th now. So last year she was in class 10th. But she went out of her way to help those farmers. So these are small little things you can see around you. There's so many people who need help, you can just do that. You don't really need to just do things to build, as we've been discussing. You don't need to do things just to build your CV or your profile, but you need to do things that you really want to do and you believe in. So these are 2 things I would say that, yes, you should look at.
Wonderful. Sorry, I had to switch off my camera because my internet connection is fluctuating and I don't want to drop out. But having said that, it's very important for everybody to understand here that community service does not mean that you have to impact the world immediately. Community service or community engagement can also start inside out, as long as you are cognizant and aware about that there are problems that need attention. So even if you see that there is a kid of your housemaid who comes and the kid is not getting to study, start inside out. Start by teaching that kid. Even if you can impact 1 life or 1,000 lives, an impact is impact. And the day you make an impact, because all of us might have intent to help the world, but not many of us are able to translate that intent into an impact. As long as you are able to translate the intent into an impact, you would be able to stand a chance for amazing admissions and amazing scholarships. And let's not forget, yes, this session was about how do you end up making to Huron and how do you end up getting that international presidential scholarship. But this is so good to know that you can start inside out. And if counselors as experienced as Shraddha are saying that certificates are not that critical, as long as you're able to make an impact and you can talk passionately about it and see the passion emerging out of 3 girls. I had to cut them short. I always thought that it's me who has a difficult stopping, but it seems that I have tough competition coming my way very, very soon. When youngsters like these start talking as they are, counselors like me will definitely lose jobs sometime soon. Having said that, one takeaway from all 3 of you, and please remember, we are now asking you to give us a takeaway which is actionable, which these kids can follow, which these kids can apply in their high school, and they are able to make it for that $100,000 scholarship. Okay, so give me a good takeaway. Who wants to start first? Raise your hand. Awesome. Harsheen, there you go. Start.
So I'll keep it really short. So Abhishek sir, just like you mentioned, sitting in this panel right now feels so nostalgic because just a few months ago I was on the other side. And believe me, I understand so much. Like when other university kids used to come and speak, I used to get so jealous. I'm like, I am here, just working so hard to get there, and they're already in college and enjoying and stuff like that. And one thing that I and a lot of other students tend to do is, like we used to hear stories like today, the three of us are talking. I've heard a lot of students talk and prepare for college. So even on YouTube and even like Instagram stories and everything, what we tend to do is we tend to follow their stories. Like, okay, they did this, let's do this. But that's not it. I mean, I almost made the same mistake. If like if I've done one particular type of activity, does not mean that you have to do the same activity to get into the same college with the same scholarship. They're not looking for me, they're looking for you. So instead of following someone else, just be yourself, do what you want to do, because that is what will get you into the college, and just be 100% yourself. All the best, everyone.
Are you sure you're an 18 or a 19-year-old? I mean, be yourself is something that, even educators with experience like us, we at times forget, right? Boys and girls, this is such a big takeaway. Please write it down. Please make it a hashtag, be yourself. Just do whatever you feel like doing. Just feel for it. Be passionate about it. You do not have to copy Harsheen, Riva, or Priya, but find your own story. And as long as you are able to be yourself, as long as you are able to talk about it in the interview, when they ask you why you should be selected for the scholarship, as long as you are able to write about it in your scholarship essay, I think you will definitely be able to achieve it. Riva, over to you. Your one takeaway.
So as Sir mentioned, two takeaways, one for the parents and one for the children. So for the children, I want to say that I know each and every single one of you are creative. And I know that this is a very cool age where, oh no, I'm not creative. I'm all about logic and rational. No, every single kid is creative. And I can guarantee you that. Please give yourself that space to be creative. Even if you think that something is not your forte, try it. If nothing, you will gain memories, laughters, or a lesson if it's that bad. Please go out there, explore yourself. The more you build yourself, the more you recognize with what you believe in and what you're good at. So never ever limit yourself to that. Explore every single field to realize that, okay, maybe this is my forte, maybe this is my forte. Pursue it, don't be afraid to do that. Just build on your character, focus on your personality, and go ahead and explore everything. Because when you do that, that is when you, I think, truly start excelling, when you give yourself the chance and that space to excel. So that is my takeaway for the kids. For the parents, when your kids decide to do this, when they decide to step out of their comfort zone and explore all the fields, I know you're worried about their studies. I know you're worried that because you think that they're so good at this thing, they should keep focusing on that thing. But still, give them that space, give them the opportunity, let them go ahead and explore it once. Because trust me, if it's not meant for them, they will be the first people to realize it and step back. But before that, don't stop them. Just let them explore themselves. And to get the scholarship, you need to know who you really are to actually recognize with everything that the scholarship demands out of you. So yeah, I think that would be my bit.
Amazing. Now I know why Huron has Huron fan clubs even before students join Huron. And it's so important, Riva, and thank you so much, Riva, Harsheen, both of you, for sharing your takeaways. It is so important that as parents, we allow our children to be. It is very important that we give that time and space to our kids to be able to explore themselves. And if parents, you are listening, please allow your children to be. Just because you could not crack IIT does not mean that they are forced to crack IIT and carry the burden of your dreams. They have their own life, they have their own calling, and they will definitely find it one day. For kids, please remember, there is a phrase which says introspect and retrospect for a better prospect. So if you are able to spend time with yourself, if you're able to think about yourself, if you're able to think about the world around you, and you introspect about it and you retrospect about it, you will be able to find your own true creativity. Because yes, it is true. Each one of us is creative. At times we just don't realize it. So you give yourself that space, and you will be finding your own true calling. Pia, one takeaway from your side, beta.
I think I'm just going to say this. My marks while applying for the scholarship were not stellar. I had the minimum requirement, but that's basically it. I think what I really showed in my essay and in the interview was a commitment, and that's what Huron's looking for. That's what they want to work with, is if you have a commitment or a willingness to commit to a cause or to something that you're really passionate about, that's really all they need. So that's one thing for the kids. For the parents, extracurriculars in school and co-curriculars are so important. I like, under the Indian education system, marks are everything, and parents tend to stick with that norm usually. But I'm really grateful for my parents, because they never limited me. They always put my interests and everything else above marks. So that's one thing for the parents, is if your kids are passionate about something, study shouldn't be limiting them. So
amazing. To all three of you, my request on a public platform, please do not deny it. There is a book of mine which is which I'm writing right now. It is called Future is Already Here. I would want to collaborate with you. Write your story in that book. Write your story all the way from high school to the university. Write your learnings, because I strongly believe that our days are over. We cannot motivate kids anymore. To motivate the kids today, I need you guys to motivate. And high school moms today started with one small vision. And that was that, can we provide opportunities to the world at large, from the nook and corner of India, and in a very democratic way, in a very inclusive way. And that's how we are able to bring international internships and research programs, which could have costed $4,000 to $7,000, but we are able to bring them absolutely free of cost for students who are willing to just put in an effort. And we do not charge students, we do not charge parents any single penny to participate in any activity of high school moms. At least so far, we have never done that. So I would really want all three of you to allow me to talk about you. We will share the script with you when we write. And we will also possibly request you guys to write a small little paragraph or a chapter which can be incorporated as part of the theme of the book. So that's my request for all three of you. But amazing to have all three of you, and Shraddha and Anjali. Thank you so very much for joining in tonight from Canada. I wish all three of you a lot of happiness, because knowing you today, I can definitely tell you that success is all yours. That's guaranteed. But I just hope that while you were happy in high school and now you are super happy at university, you always remain happy for the rest of your life. And success is a byproduct. It will definitely come with the way you guys are working. Thank you so much. Parting comments from Anjali and Shraddha. Anjali, first you, and then we'll take Shraddha as a parting comment.
Thank you so much for organizing this session. It's always great to meet students once they reach the campus. Hopefully, I will look them up once I'm there when travel opens. But my favorite people ever. I'm still connected with their parents in some way or the other. But yes, of course, all I can say is, and I can't tell you how even so away, my eyes welled up. When I heard their stories, that everything that they expected out of Huron, we were able to deliver, and maybe more. Yes, there are going to be ups and downs. We're also going to probably take some time to adjust to a lot of things. With every new batch, every new cohort, there comes new challenges and new changes. But we are there here to support. Don't judge us on things that sometimes we fall. But we are definitely going to get back on our
Anjali, I'm telling you, you have to stop saying that, because when you have, these kids will become their seniors for all these kids who will be joining Huron.
Yes.
And if these three kids are there, they will definitely, I mean, the way they have spoken so passionately and so connected they are, I'm sure these three kids will be able to take care of the other kids who are listening to this session once they end up at Huron campus. So I'm
Like,
worried as a career counselor whether your
no,
university is taking care of it or not, but
I,
these three
I
students will
always,
definitely do.
I always say this, that our whole commitment is to make every single student a leader with heart. And the way I'm looking at all of them and I'm listening to them, it really swells my heart to say this with pride. I think every single student at Huron is a brand ambassador for Huron. I don't have to say anything. When I
What
say it,
about
it might
students? You've
sound.
made career counselors like me and Shraddha as brand ambassadors of Huron. And
But great to see all of you. Yes, I have just posted in the chat box, the link for our virtual open house, which is next weekend. You want to hear more stories like these, connect with our current students, staff, faculty, and get to know more about Huron there. So I have nothing to say.
Shraddha,
Leaders said it all.
your parting comments.
I would just like to tell all the students and parents that do not hesitate to apply, because I've been seeing a lot of students saying that, I don't have a good portfolio and whether I will get it. It is not whether you will get it or not. You should apply, and how you come across during the interview, I think is very, very important. Even if you've not done much during your school, what is your vision for your college and later on in life? Of course, that will make a big difference. So don't hesitate to apply to Huron for the scholarship, thinking that your portfolio is not good. Go ahead, do it. I'm sure all these three girls, I am so happy to hear their stories. Ariva's I know, but Pia and Harsheen, really, really happy to meet you here and hear your stories. It was an inspiration to me, of course. These inspiring stories inspire us as counselors to motivate our students further. So thank you so much for having me here. Abhishek, it was great. The session was great and so much of learning for me as well.
Thank
That's
you
all
so
I would
much,
say.
Shraddha. All right. So, boys and girls, I'll give you my parting comments. When I was listening to Harsheen and she said that I won't call it a slap, but a pat from her mom, that go ahead and apply. There is a common element here. Even these three thought that they will not get it. You are also thinking that you will not get it, which means all of you are on the same platform, which means you guys will definitely get it. All right. That's the beauty about critical reasoning, right? I mean, some things can be proven only by critical reasoning and not by putting your brains to it. So all three of them also thought that they will never get it. All three of them also thought that they are not good enough. But today they are not only the brand ambassadors for Huron. I do not think a university like Huron needs brand ambassadors, but I would say that they are Huron. And when they are Huron, and when they are living, breathing Huron, they will definitely take care of you once you land up. And parents, I saw a comment where a kid said, "Thank you, Didis." So we already see here relationships being built. While the word could be small, Didi, but we've already created relationship here. And that's the beauty of high school moms, where we all are connected as a community, one purpose, and that's the student. Thank you so very much, Harsheen Kaur, Riva Thakur, and Pia Mathur. Special thanks to Shraddha Chauhan and Anjali Anand. Thank you so much for joining in tonight. Boys and girls, go ahead, find your true calling, be yourself. That's what Harsheen Kaur says. Spend time with yourself, explore yourself, be creative. That's what Riva says. And Pia says that you do not have to worry. Even if your academics are not that great, as long as you can talk about yourself in the essays, as long as you can talk about yourself in the interview, world is waiting for you with open arms. We wish you guys a great future, and we definitely wish you a great admission at Huron with a great scholarship. Thank you so very much, everybody. Thank you.